Okay, let's get TikTok going. We seem to be going quite smoothly, dare I say. Temp fate and all that stuff. So that's the Discord notification sent out. Let's get TikTok on.
What's been numbing since the bear market?
Hey Nathan, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. How's YouTube doing? Are we up to speed? Hope you're well. Welcome, Paul. Good to see you. Steve, how are we doing, buddy? Oh, sorry, Stephen. I shouldn't be so presumptuous. Is Steve okay, or are you with Stephen? Raging again. How are we doing, buddy? How are we doing? How are we doing? Right, okay, now I am... Hey, King Kenny, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, right, so I am currently live on YouTube. I tried using TikTok Live and it just strangles my system, so until we get an upgrade... Wrapping presents, excellent stuff. I'm going to get this mic in just so that people in YouTube can actually hear me. So I've got you plugged into that tonight. Just going to check the sound source actually. Yep, we should be good. You should be catching that on the mic, so you should have some clean audio. Hey, Steve, you're Steve mainly. Excellent, good. I take it only your mum and your family call you Stephen when they're angry with you. If it's anything like me. How are we doing, buddy? Right, okay, so yeah. Superb, excellent. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that confirmation that YouTube's running nice and smooth. So let's just stick with this format for now then. So that's good. If anyone wants to join me on YouTube, the link is in my bio. Just follow that to my YouTube, subscribe, and you'll go through to the live. So great to see you on there. Right, so looking at the chart on Bitcoin, the 4-hourly chart has pretty much done me proud. I've got a long-term resistance line, trend line, that we are turning into support. We've bounced off this trend line after breaking through twice on the 4-hourly, and we're on the upward march. Superb, Nathan. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Am I still drunk? I don't know, buddy. Are you still drunk? What are you doing? How are we doing? You're backwards again. Let's flip that mirror again. I don't know why it started doing this. There we go. You should be better. Right, so we almost got it right first time today. So yeah, as I was saying, Bitcoin is bouncing off the 4-hourly trend line, so that's good. It looks like we're turning something that we've struggled to break through to historically into an area of support. We've bounced off it twice on the 4-hourly. If I zoom out to the hourly, again, we've bounced off it twice. But it's a much stronger bounce this time. So the hourly chart is very high on the stochastic RSI. I would expect it to reset a little bit, but the 4-hourly is still on the way up. So we've got some room to maneuver. But now his face is backwards. Oh no. That can't be good. Why is this doing this to me? Never mind. My OCD won't allow it. Okay, so Bitcoin's looking healthy on the 4-hourly. Thank you for smashing the likes, people. I do appreciate that. Keep that going. We'll get some more people in, and hopefully we'll have a good evening of crypto. So yes, currently live streaming on YouTube. Bitcoin is trending number 1 again. Pancake Swap trending number 2. ARK is trending number 3. Now, ARK is not something I've looked at before. So for the benefit of all those... Let's talk Binance. Let's go Binance news then. Absolutely. So, Binance, yes. Binance have been under investigation for 2 years by the US Department of Justice, but they've now decided they're considering criminal prosecutions, which is bizarre when you think that they've helped highlight the fraud that was FTX. It's bizarre. Now, we all know that Sam Bankman-Fried was a man in the possibly in the pocket of the government, going and supporting centralisation. Maybe he has made some friends there. Maybe he thinks he's above the law. He can avoid prosecution and point the finger. So it's the finger's coming straight back at Binance now. Now I think CZ would have been very, very foolhardy to point the finger if he's not squeaky clean. So I think this is just FUD. As I said, the investigation is one that's been ongoing 2 years, so we'll see what happens with that. No, I don't think Binance is an issue. I honestly think this is FUD and scaremongering by SBF. The US government aren't going to like CZ because obviously ultimately he's a Chinese guy, but the Chinese don't want exchanges in there. So it's not like he's an agent for China. He is. I think he's trying to clean up the space, regardless of how much damage it does. So I think Binance is actually going to be okay. It's just the FUD in the news. Do I think there's any chance that the 15th settlement might be good for XRP and bad for a few? I don't think there's going to be any XRP settlement on the 15th. Unfortunately, these dates come and go. There's been a date put in for a summary judgment request for the 4th of January. I think that's the date that we need to be looking at. I don't think they're going to be settling anytime soon. I really don't. Isn't he Canadian? Who? CZ or Sam Bankman-Fried? Sam Bankman-Fried, he's in with politicians, is what I was trying to say, not necessarily the US government. Been having fun with scammers today, 99 IMPTIO support accounts. Yeah, I mean, IMPT is unbelievable that people were caught out so bad on that. CZ, I thought he was Chinese. maybe the name just caught me off guard. Binance CEO CZ. He's a Chinese-Canadian business exec. So, yeah, he's probably from Canada, but he is Chinese. So, so Chinese-Canadian business exec. Cool. So he's actually Canadian. So that's probably another reason why China don't want him as well. They probably banned the world's biggest exchange because he's Canadian. What's first, XRP 10K or football coming home? Personally, and I don't want to say it because I am English, but neither of those are ever going to happen. My personal opinion. Really difficult one to say, but I don't think anything is. The 10K is something that is mathematically possible, but I don't think realistically it's going to happen. Rather be Chinese than Canadian, personally. Are we going to start getting into the US versus Canada type stuff here? I actually think Canada's really nice and the people are really nice. I have been there a couple of times when I was younger. My auntie and uncle live in Canada. They live in Alberta. I loved it when we visited. It was great. And there's nothing better. They lived in, I think it was Edmonton in Alberta. I think if I've got that right, if I remembered it right. But yeah, I mean, yes, I love Canada, and I think the people are great too. But I know there's a lot of banter between the US and Canadians, so it's all cool. Right. So personally, I think Binance and the US criminal investigation is just FUD. The investigation was something that was ongoing anyway, and I suspect it's just a source that maybe released some details that they shouldn't have. Toronto and Montreal, yeah. Toronto's an absolute hub, isn't it? Right, so where was I going? So top trending Bitcoin and ARK. Now ARK, I was going to have a look at. So ARK's $46 million market cap, 55 million fully diluted, 169 million total supply, but there's no max supply, so it looks like it might be mintable. Now, ARK's actually been around on the CMC chart since April 17. So it saw a massive spike. It was over $9.50 in 2018. Survived the bear market. Did come back in the bull run, but not as strongly. So it only came back to about $3. So it shrunk between bull runs, which is not necessarily a good thing. So it's a cryptocurrency blockchain-based platform. customizable, interoperable blockchain production, reducing the industry's need for smart contracts by custom transactions, logic, and multiple programming languages. So it sounds like it's got good utility, to be fair. But I think blockchains are going the way of being specialized rather than generic. So that might be why we saw some shrinkage in the development of that project. Hey Kahal, how are we doing, buddy? How's it going? Am I still DCAing or am I holding off buying? I did DCA again this month. I actually bought something different. I bought a little bit of Moonbeam, a little bit of Moon River, of course, a little bit of Quant, but I also bought some MUX. Now that's something I've not talked about before because I do view it as very, very high risk. It's a DEX lending it's a DEX protocol basically on Arbitrum. You can stake them, and I've locked them in for 2 years. It's a little bit. After I locked it in, I suddenly thought this feels a little bit hex, and I thought, why have I done that? But it's locked in for 2 years, 54% a year. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it wasn't one of my original low cap gems. It was just one that I thought, yeah, okay, 54% APR. Chuck a bit of money in there to see what happens. But it's going okay, actually, to be fair. So we're getting some VMUX rewards, and that's all good. Right, okay. Right, Nathan, you are on YouTube, mate, so you're in the driving seat. Tell us what you want to look at on YouTube whilst we have a look at Discord, and I'll run through the figures at the moment on the charts. So as I was saying, Bitcoin at the moment is looking really good on the 4-hourly. We've bounced off this long-standing trend line a couple of times. We've seen a little bit of red and a little bit of green, to be fair, in the market. Now, Polka Starter is back up from 30 cents to 40 cents in the last couple of weeks. That would indicate to me that possibly some people are looking at launch pads again. As the market bottoms out, I think launch pads are going to be something that are acquired quite heavily. Juan and Stuart, thank you for the follows. I appreciate that, buddy. Keep smashing those likes. People will keep getting more people in, keep getting more follows. As I said, if you are new to the channel and you're not there already, you can watch my screen live on YouTube. I can do it on TikTok, but it really, really is slow. And we just find the YouTube system a little bit better. So yeah, hop on over there. There's not many people there either as well, so you'll get kind of like sole use of it at the moment. Shall we do a free coin to mint? Have a look at Noddle. Okay, let's have a look at Noddle, actually, because free money is always good money. So let's have a look. Noddle. So let's do a little bit of a dive into Noddle. I haven't bought in 2 weeks. To be fair, I've laid off for about the last week and a half, 2 weeks as well. I've tried to stick now to my DCA. I do think the market's going to come lower, but I'm not going to stop buying Moonbeam and Moon River. I am going to go back heavy on Moonbeam, though. I'm going to do a bit of a write-up on Moonbeam and Moon River and the differences between them and the use cases. So that will be coming out fairly soon, hopefully, on something that I'm working on, we'll say. And I'm not going to do anything stupid to mess it up this time. So, yeah, so I've got some plans, and I'm thinking I'll do some deep dives on a few things. So, going back to YouTube requests, so we've got Noddle. As Nathan's pointed out, it is a free-to-earn crypto. Market cap's $9 million. Fully diluted, it's $29 million. So, obviously, we've got about 30% of the supply out there. The CMC chart starts in August 22, so clearly, in the bear market. It did launch, and it did the hereditary post-launch dump. And it has kind of settled down now about between 0.2 and 0.3 cents. So let's have a look and see what the actual use case is. So Noddle connects the physical world to Web3 by using smartphones as edge nodes. Edge nodes read devices and sensors in the physical world using Bluetooth low energy and connect that information to the blockchain, creating geolocation-based layer 1 that can be used by many unique applications built for the hyper-connected, mobile-orientated world that we live in, including real-time asset tracking. Noddle creates an economic model that is secure, private, and scalable. Now that sounds very much like the original HNT use case, except you've now got mobile phones rather than these boxes, these GPS boxes. So very, very similar use case there, which actually is quite good. I think you can imagine things like courier companies, and distribution companies using that a lot. Which is interesting. So obviously, they've all got these handhelds at the moment. They are switching to mobile phone apps. When I worked for a courier company, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, they were switching their devices to mobile phones. They used to have PDA type devices, and they started using mobile phones. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like VeChain, because I do have the experience and background in logistics and distribution to appreciate that people like DHL, these big logistics companies, worldwide shipping companies, they don't want a decentralized kind of solution for one part of what they do. They want a one-stop-fits-all solution. But saying that, if they can get that information from a mobile device that they don't have to pay for, rather than it being some big expensive tracking system, then why not something like Noddle? It's a great idea. So yeah, free tokens for that. It'd be interesting to see how you earn those. But yeah, great shout. I mean, decent market cap, certainly room for growth, decent utility. Just interesting to see. It would be interesting to see what partners they've actually got working with them at the moment. Realistic price on Moonbeam long term. My Moonbeam target for the next bull run is $5. If it reaches $5, I will be a very, very, very happy man. I think that is realistic too. I mean, if we have a look at Moonbeam, yeah, when it launched, it was much, much higher. Moonbeam launched at something crazy. Let's have a look. I don't think it'll go anywhere near its all-time high. Let's put it that way. But I mean, at the moment, it's got a market cap of 186 million. Fully diluted, it's 400 million. Let's say it gets to, I don't know, $10 billion market cap, which I think is possible. I really do think it's possible. You're looking at like a 20x at least on that. That's not financial advice. This is my personal opinion. So the all-time launch high price was like $18. If we say that my target is $5, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think as a network, as a blockchain based upon the Polkadot network, layer 0, I think Moonbeam is fantastic technology. And I think Moonriver, even more so, sort of tokenomics wise. Now, Moonbeam will get the most use case. Moonbeam, is the most useful, but Moonriver has got really, really interesting tokenomics. So as I just said, total supply 1 billion on Moonbeam, but it's like 10.5 million on Moonriver. Ashjan, welcome. Good to have you on board. IMPT, as far as I'm concerned, IMPT is a shit coin. It's basically a shopping platform that have done a token and an NFT for carbon offset credits. They don't need the token. They don't need the NFT. They could have just given you the carbon credit as a reward. The token and the NFT is a complete cash grab. Moonriver, so it's currently $7.93, market cap 46 million. Again, I see massive potential in this. It is a test net. And it's a test net which is technically a security, so we have to be very, very careful, especially in the US, because ultimately they are a test net who are incentivizing you to build it, use it, and develop on it. So that is the definition of a security. So we have to be very careful with that. But ultimately, almost everything, hopefully, that will be built on Moonbeam will go through Moonriver. It's seeing a lot of transaction traffic. It's going up a lot. So I think Moonriver is one for me to definitely watch. So yeah, total supply at the moment, 10.5 million. It is slightly inflationary. However, growth should outstrip that for the first few years at least. All-time high again. Now, this launch price was crazy. It launched at $80, skyrocketed to $4.50, and we're all the way back down now to like $8. So I'm buying Moonriver a lot. I'm buying Moonbeam even more, and Polkadot. I bought some ICP today, actually, funnily enough, and I actually got some SigDAO. Now, anyone who's familiar with Crypto is Good, big supporter of ICP and a developer, he released a DeFi project on ICP called SigDAO. So I staked into that today. So that's looking really good too. And it is doing very, very well. There's not a lot on the ICP ecosystem. And of course, if it's someone like that who you know who they are, they openly say it's their project, they support it, they're an expert on the network, they're a developer, they're a software engineer, why wouldn't you support that project? It's got every chance of success. So yeah, I went for some of that today. Let's have a look. What do I think about in-traits for tomorrow in the US? I think they'll still go up, but I think they probably won't go up as much. I am expecting 50 points. I'm expecting 0.5%. I think the US did it early enough where they can start reducing the increases now. You'll still see an increase for sure, but I think possibly 0.5% rather than 0.75%. But yeah, it's Wednesday. Crypto Moon Rocket, welcome. Good to see you, buddy. Listed on Uniswap today, IMPT, but didn't tell community. Appears a dump and cash grab. 100%. 100%. IMPT is an absolute pile of trash. The pre-sale was a complete cash grab. They've launched a token so it doesn't look like a scam, but you don't need the token. You don't need the NFT. If you spend on their shopping platform, they could have just rewarded you with the carbon offset credit tokens. They don't need IMPT. They don't need NFTs. It's a complete cash grab. And they sold you a shopping, or they didn't sell you, they were selling a shopping platform in the guise of a green crypto project, which is very, very hot right now. Look at Energy Web Token and other things like that are just doing really, really well. This was a cash grab, IMPT. It's trash. If you read their white paper, there's nothing in there except cash grab. Why not just buy DOT rather than Moonriver if it uses the platform? Well, funnily enough, Moonriver is actually on Kusama. So you've got Moonbeam that's on Polkadot and Moonriver that's on Kusama. Both Canary networks. So Kusama's a Canary network to DOT and Moonriver is a Canary network to Moonbeam. So they're both slightly different use cases and on different networks. But I do hold a lot of Polkadot. It's locked up in the parachains, most of it. I stake a lot of it on Parallel Finance on Polkadot as well. I've got some Interlay, I've got some Akala left. I've got a little bit of Akala left still, but I've been slowly selling out of that. Bigger upside, yeah. This is it. Return of investment is always a big thing for me. So I could like something a lot, like I like Quant, but Quant is possibly like a 10x, 15x for the next year or two. Whereas something like Moonbeam or Moonriver is huge. I really do think it's 20x plus. Personally, that's my target. Sorry to many moons. The creator of ICP owned 25% and took big profits. I don't feel too comfortable about it. I mean, I don't blame you. That is a lot of people's skepticism on ICP. The team did dump on launch, but it was manipulated by exchanges as well. The price was manipulated up and people dumped. Yes, they did. But is the technology good? Yes. It's a very prospective investment. The technology is good, and if it's adopted, I believe it will do very, very well. But if it doesn't, then it's zero. So I'm hoping it does very, very well. But yeah, it's very speculative. Lisa, welcome to live. Good to see you. Steve, welcome to YouTube, buddy. Good to see you. I've just caught you on there. Looking good on YouTube. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you being there. Again, it's just the two of you there at the moment. So if you've got a YouTube request that you want to see the screen, shout it out, buddy. You're going to get priority to see that. No problem. I just need to keep an eye on you. But yeah, please do shout out anything you want. I mean, YouTube certainly seems to be a bit smoother live with the screen than TikTok Live is at the moment. But I'm going to get some more RAM for the PC, so it should cope. Too many moons. Yeah, this is the bizarre thing. Why name it Moonbeam and Moonriver? No one likes moons. Moons are a token name. They're a meme name. It's difficult to take it seriously. When you look at the use cases, they are phenomenal. You're basically building, with Moonbeam, you're basically building Ethereum on the Polkadot network. And with Moonriver, you've got an Ethereum smart contract set up for DeFi on, mostly for DeFi on Kusama network. So it's fantastic technology. It really, really is. And I'd highly recommend you research it. As I said, I will probably write a short article on it soon. I'm going to start doing some things to share that kind of information with you outside of the realms of just TikToks and things. So, yeah, that's in development. I don't want to sort of push it out there too far yet, but there's things coming. Bought a bit of Crust a couple of weeks ago. Let's have a look at Crust. Crust is not one that I've even entertained, to be fair. So let's have a look. So, Crust Network, $5.6 million market cap, $15 million fully diluted, 24.5 million maximum supply. Sorry, total supply, no maximum. So, again, suggests it's possibly mintable. Now, the CMC chart starts in September 20, runs up nicely in the bull run to over $150 this went to, and it's flatlined on the way down ever since. So, it's actually lower than when it launched. So currently at 61 cents. If that ever returned to an all-time high, that's like an over 200x. But is it worth it? Let's have a quick look. Decentralized storage network and cloud solutions for both. Well, there you go. On that note alone, that opening sentence, I would say worthy of further research. Data network and storage is going to be hot for the next few years. As blockchain develops, we are going to need more and more cloud storage. Can you imagine if nations started adopting crypto? they've got options. They can either go for cloud storage, or they can go for data storage hubs. Either way, it'll probably be Amazon Web Services or something similar. So these projects that link in and provide cloud solutions, they're going to be, indispensable, really, really indispensable. So yeah, I from that opening sentence, I'd say is at least worthy of further research. Of course, it hasn't seen a bear market before. It's not looking too healthy, but there's an outside chance. If you wanted to gamble, there's a gamble there. Okay, so impt.io. So EmoPet is the one that launched already and dumped. Okay, yeah. So impt.io is a different project to EmoPet. Steve's absolutely right. So IMPT, if you read the white paper though, it's not good. So I would still avoid it. But if EmoPet is launched and that's a bad one, then I appreciate you guys coming on and letting us know. Added to your bag of ALBT. Alliance Block is, again, another fantastic one. I really liked ALBT and its utility and use case last year. It works with a lot of the ISO tokens in what they do. They're kind of like quite a professional outfit, but market cap's 10 million. Okay, only 23% of the token is in supply. And, it has had an awful run since the bull run. So if you looked at it, you'd probably think, yeah, again, launched in September 20, went into the bull run, did quite well, got up to $1.25-ish, and now it's back down below the previous start point. So, it's not looking good. It's down, I don't know, 90%, maybe more. But ultimately, it's described as a bridge between traditional and digital capital markets for all participants, and it does tie in with a lot of professional organisations and institutions. So one that I like and one that I would probably hold again at some point. It's not on my priority list, but again, the ROI potential, whilst the market cap's at 10 million, it's pretty good, but you just have to bear in mind that the full circulating supply is a lot higher. Not as much research as me. It's fine, buddy. It's fine. And, I the thing is, all the different projects I learn about, I tend to learn about very superficially, unless it's something that I like and invest in. So we'll see. IMPT.io lists on LBank on the 14th. Yeah, IMPT.io I still personally don't like. I read the white paper and I just wasn't keen. So for me, that was a bit of a no-go. But, I hope I'm wrong. But I just think it's a cash grab. It doesn't suit the use case. It's just a shopping platform. What's wrong with Filecoin? Filecoin's excellent, but I would say if you're looking to make good ROIs, you can't just stick with the big guys. In the bear market, you should stick with the big guys. Absolutely, you don't want to take too much risk. But as we start to bottom out in the bear market, you can start to look at what's offering a good ROI. What are the low caps that can give you good returns? So if I was doing that, the exercise I would be doing is I'd be looking at things like Filecoin, but are much lower down the market cap list. And that's where you find these other projects. Still bullish on XRP and DCA at targets. XRP I'm still bullish on. Ripple XRP use case hasn't changed for me one iota. Sell targets are still between $5 and $10 with the moon bag to see what happens after. But I am not DCA into XRP unless something else happens that makes me buy a little bit because I'm selling something else. But most of what I hold now, I've got pretty strong opinions on for the next 2 years. Storage was Amazon's hidden cash cow that everyone never saw. Storage is a huge market. Crust code. Crust code, I think it is just Crust, isn't it? Let's have a look. Crust Network. Oh no, it's not Crust. It's let's have a look. It is doing it. Here we go. It's CRU. So on CoinMarketCap, it's ticker code CRU. ARWeave for storage is also an excellent suggestion. I think you've probably got the 3 tiers nailed there. You've got Filecoin at the top, ARWeave on its tails, and then Crust Network, which is one of the smaller ones. There are a lot of data cloud storage solution projects coming out now because they know it's going to be hot. But there's room in the market for sure in the future. Circulating supply is low and plan to release 100% more for next year. And this is the thing you need to be aware about circulating supplies. So market caps can look low, but if you don't look at the full supply and try and work out what the vesting situation is, when the release schedule is it locked in for staking for 10 years or 1 month? those sorts of things are what affect the valuations and whether or not you should get in or not. So just always consider circulating supplies, market caps, and fully diluted market caps. Thoughts on Trius? Trius has an outwardly very good utility. However, I've learned over the last 12 months it is a preferred VC pump and dump project. So that will get manipulated left, right, and centre. However, saying that, if you see all-time lows or recent lows, not financial advice, but if you see it at a low, will it be pumped again? Possibly. Is it worth a go, therefore? Who knows? I can't say, but logic would dictate that when it comes down, it'll go back up. Managed to get on YouTube, great live, DJ Noob with the mic. Thanks, Matty, appreciate that, buddy. The mic's really good on YouTube. It doesn't seem to agree with TikTok either. I think I'm going to stick to the YouTube setup as well now, so we'll see what happens there. Trixie, welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up, appreciate that. Keep smashing the likes, people. You're doing really well. You've got me up over 5k now, so we're doing great things here. Right, okay, we're not getting any more requests on YouTube at the moment, so let's have a look. So Alfie wants to about an Onino. Onino is a really good Web3 project, actually. They are still building in this bear market. I've kept an eye on that team. They are doing really, really good things. So it's I think it's got multi-chain now, hasn't it? Yeah, so it was started off on the smart chain and it's now on Phantom. It's certic audited, market cap 1.9 million. 1.9 million. Very, very small. But fully diluted, it's 7.3. So I know that's because there are tokens vesting and there are tokens vesting and there's a lot of staking with Onino. So a lot of that's locked up. But yeah, Onino generally a great Web3 solution, certainly worthy of research. Check out, they've already released part of their Web3 solution during the bear market, which was like a wallet directory. So instead of having your long wallet addresses, a bit like the domain names, but you don't need the domain names. You just have like an address book. So you can say like, Steve, B&B or whatever. You can name the wallet addresses. So you can just send money to wherever. It's a really good idea. Something simple, but good use case. And they're developing a lot more as well. So certainly check it out. What about investing in House of Lords? They are great at pump and dump 30 million. Oh, mate, I know. Don't get me started. Why is there Binance FUD? I don't know why. I don't know where this Binance FUD's come from. I think it could probably be a counter-attack from SBF's camp. Binance have been under this investigation for 2 years. And now suddenly it's news that someone might face criminal prosecutions. It's coincidental timing, isn't it? It's just a little bit off. So this investigation is 2 years old, and now they're starting to release stuff in the press. And even Binance have come out. I did a TikTok on it earlier, basically just stating that Binance came out and did a tweet back, basically saying, well, yet again, Reuters have got the news wrong. Because if you actually look at what they've said to the reporter and the blog and things, that the extract that they've given them, they've just basically not understood it at all and said whatever they wanted. So yeah, a lot of fun on Binance right now. I'm not too worried about it. CZ is not going to fire shots if he's not clean himself. That's my personal belief. We don't really know what's happening behind the scenes with a lot of these, but I do think it's fake news. It's not very often I say it is fake, but I do believe this is fake. I think these are shots at Binance. People are forgetting that Binance were under investigation anyway and have been for 2 years. And rumours of undisclosed sources saying that it could be criminal prosecution coming up. It's just FUD. Just read between the lines. I mean, yes, it might be true, but there's no evidence to substantiate it. It's an anonymous source, which to me is a bit like, BitBoy Crypto. It's just bullshit. An anonymous source is not proven, it's not factual, therefore not reliable. I think, it sounds like fake news. All exchanges have got skeletons in the cupboard. I 100% agree. For Binance to become that dominant that quick, I'm pretty sure at the beginning they probably did things, they cut a lot of corners. And that's probably why they're under investigation, is to see what corners they cut, to make sure that they are at least now squeaky clean. With that being the case, I think they probably are, otherwise CZ would not be firing these shots. But yeah, I think you're right. All exchanges have got something skeletons in the closet. And we've even still got things ongoing with possible the 24-hour transaction levels being faked by sending each other transactions. It's just unbelievable. Would not be surprised if Chinese government behind some of it control is king. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. And we've already seen a lot of news stories about the Chinese government this last week or so wanting to launch and encourage their own CBDC. Exchanges are not allowed in China. You're going to have to use the CBDC exchange. So there's going to be some interesting things there. So yes, they're very proactive with crypto. They are forcing adoption, but it's only through their CBDC. So there's still going to be that large element of control. CZ's turn after flooding his competitors. Yeah, absolutely. We got to remember, FTX. Yes, it's dodgy as hell. We now all know that, but we only now know that because CZ started firing shots at him and accusing him of all sorts of things, and all of a sudden it tumbled like a house of cards. And it didn't tumble like a house of cards because of timing. It was because he started firing shots, and people actually started to question what was going on. People were happily oblivious whilst things were making them money. When funnily enough, in the bear market, shots get fired. People are more inclined to look at it because they're not making as much money. What's my view on the market this week and the Fed rate hike? I think the Fed is still going to hike rates. I think probably, for me personally, I would not be surprised to see half a point. I don't think we'll see 75 points again. I think 50 points, 0.5% is probably where we go. Bitcoin's actually looking okay at the moment. On the 4-hourly chart, we've bounced off a long-standing trend line twice. So we are looking fairly positive on the 4-hourly. On the daily chart with Bitcoin, we've broken out above this long-standing trend line. We are in the red today at the moment, so that's not great. And we're above EMA, and stochastic RSI is very high. So I do think Bitcoin's due a pullback anyway. Now, it wouldn't surprise me with the rate hike coming up on Wednesday if by close of play tomorrow, Tuesday, we might just see a bit of a drop from 17 to maybe 16, 16.1, 16.2. That resets the daily stochastic RSI on Bitcoin, brings us back below a trend line, back below EMA. People will be worried about the announcement. There'll be a little bit of FUD beforehand, but as long as things go as expected, the market should remain fairly strong given the bear market conditions. We're seeing a lot of mixed messages at the moment, but Bitcoin's been strong for about 10 days now. Stochastic RSI has been consistently high. As I say, it's only the volatility is only really in the hourly and the 4-hourly charts. The hourly, for example, again, that's topped up on the stochastic RSI now as well. So I do think we're due a pullback. Only the 4-hourly seems to suggest we can continue. No one gets to be £1 billion company without some backhanders and friend in the right places. 100%. 100%. And do we really think SBF is capable of doing all the things he did accidentally? No. He's been told what to do, or he's been led, or he's actually a lot cleverer and he's letting on. I didn't realise. I didn't know. I'm really stupid. Yeah, okay. Right, of course you are. 50 basis points price, it'll drop. Do I think the bottom is in or close? For me personally, I think the bottom could still be 12k. There's a lot of reasons for that. We're still in the bear market. The bear market's got a long way to go. All of the skeletons in the FTX closet and other closets have yet to be exposed fully. We are playing with a long-term trend line here. If that does break down, as I said, I think there's very little support on the weekly chart until we get to 12k. So if we have another big event, I do think we could lose 30-40% from where we are now, and that would be a big hit. Evening, Matt. How are we doing, buddy? XRP for the win. Absolutely. Let's hope they get that win soon, because I know there's a lot of us that would like to actually make some money from XRP in the last couple of years. Hey, Tom. How are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Welcome to Crypto. I'm joking. I know you've been around. There's just not been a lot of news. So if the market's not too busy, there's not a lot to do. But it's great to see you around again, Tom. Good to have a familiar face back in the space. A lot of UK creators just completely abandoned us for this bear market, but I know you've been around. Myself, you, Jamie, Sussex Trader, obviously, of course, as well. and obviously Dark Horse has entered the fray as well. So we've got some good UK TikTok creators still around. Think the bottom was in at 15 sideways and then up. I mean, that could very well be a scenario. Absolutely. I mean, if we look at the weekly chart, we have bounced off 15.8 twice since the beginning of November. So 15.8 has formed supports, but it would take a major event to break that support, I think. And that's why I think 12k is possible if there's more big events like FTX. I think FTX is probably about as bad as it can get, but ultimately we don't know. But I'm continuing to DCA on the basis that this could be the bottom. Of course, if it gets cheaper, I will buy more. It'll just be all good. My Crypto Space UK, you're absolutely welcome, buddy. I value people who have strong, opinions about what's happening in the space. I love to talk about it with other people. So value people like yourself being here who can put their ideas out there and are willing to put them out there. So I appreciate that feedback and I appreciate the exchanges, buddy. Did you get any Bitcoin yet? No. I did mention earlier, I keep an eye on Bitcoin in terms of it being an indicator for the market. I haven't bought any yet. Depending on where we are when I next DCA, I might buy some. It is, to believe it or not, I've got several tiers to my kind of DCA strategy during this bear market. And in tier 1, I only had 2 or 3 things. I had Bitcoin, Quant, and Crow. Well, Crow I'm not buying, not for a while. I like it, but I'm not buying it. So I should really be buying Bitcoin and Quant, but I haven't been. I've been buying my twos, which is my Moonbeams, my Moonrivers, my Dots, my ICPs, Matic. I did buy a lot of Matic actually last week, so that was good. I think hopefully that's due a little bit of a run soon, but we'll see. Only been involved a short while, 7 months or so, didn't expect this much drama. Well, the good news is, Mark, you entered in the bear market, unlike me who entered in the bull run. So I've probably lost a lot more than you. How come you don't want to buy Bitcoin? It's not that I don't want to, it's just that with my DCAing at the moment in the bear market, I'm looking at higher ROIs. I do want to buy Bitcoin as a long-term investment. It's just that other things, I'm a bit of a magpie. I will keep going for the shinies, but I do need to form Bitcoin as a base for the portfolio. It is probably the only thing almost certain not to go under and be adopted. So I should really be looking at it a lot more closely and buying it. I saw an article about his partnership with Mexi and wrote the marketing department with links to his convictions. Oh, Cryptola, yeah, I have seen that he's not been around for a few days. He has gone, yes. So obviously, I haven't talked openly about it on TikTok because kind of like that could get me in trouble. But in the Discord, there are also some details provided to me, and I shared them in the Discord. And I've made a statement, quite publicly in there. For one reason or another, it's not a guy that I would trust. So yeah. How has crypto investing changed you? I've got a little less hair now. I've got a lot less hair, a little bit more weight, but luckily, even though I got in the bull run, I've still done very, very well. I'm still up overall. So although my portfolio is 60% down from all-time highs, maybe a little bit more, I've still made a lot of money. So I'm quite happy where I am. This is why I continue to DCA now, because I'm still reducing my DCA into my long-term projects, and hopefully when we start buying the low-cap gems, some of those will come good and I'll make lots of money again. My top 5 coins for the next bull run, I mean, this is not financial advice. These are strictly what I'm buying and what I'm holding long-term for a decent ROI. So excluding Bitcoin, because that's kind of like a secure coin, I want decent ROI. So I'm specifically looking into things like Quant, Dot, Moonbeam, Moonriver, ICP. They really are my top 5 right now. They're my favourites. I think Moonbeam and Moonriver I'm very, very, very keen on. Bina, welcome. It's been a very, very, very long time. I hope you're well. Cheapest to buy Matic the now or wait. To be fair, I think Matic's just going to do very, very well. Actually, that's another thing. I did get into Arbitrum. There's no Arbitrum token at the moment, but I have started playing around in the Arbitrum ecosystem. Matic's remind me. I have bought Matic. It is the biggest and best Ethereum layer 2 scaling solution there is. no doubt about it. But there's going to be competition in the next bull run. Could it be optimism? Could it be arbitrum? We don't know. But I'm going to play around in both of those. One, because I might get some airdrops, but two, because if they're the next Matics, who knows what happens price action wise. But yeah, Matic, if you like Matic long term, it's really down to your DCA strategy or your buying strategy. For me personally, I really like it, so I bought a ton last week. 10.5k likes, that snuck in without me even noticing. Thank you very, very much. Right, let's have a look. Nathan, you're on YouTube still. What do I mean by support and resistance? Okay, so basically, I'm not a TA expert, but basically support and resistance are areas where the chart finds support, so it's called support. So literally, as we come down, it hits that level and comes back up again. So as you're on YouTube, I can explain it to you quite well. So this is the daily chart for Bitcoin. You can see here since the beginning of November, we've touched this level 15.8 twice and bounced up. If it's done that 2 or 3 times, that is a level of support. That's formed a supporting level. Doing it once, it's not really support. You need it to happen twice. So 15.8, it's bounced twice. That forms a layer of support. Resistance comes at the opposite end, where we go up, we find a level, and we can't get past it. That's called resistance. These yellow lines, these are trend lines. So these are kind of like long-standing areas of support and resistance that we need to be wary of, that we've struggled to get past in the past. So from where we are now to historical, it's a trend line. Not really as important as more local areas of support and resistance, but just a good indicator. And like I said, if I zoom in on this daily for you on YouTube, you'll see here we've broken above this trend line, this long-standing trend line. And if we can establish some support and some consolidation here, we could go upside. But the fact that the daily chart is the stochastic RSI has been so high for so long, I would expect it to come back down quite substantially below that trend line and below the EMA. So that's all support and resistance is. It's literally where we have found an area of support and bounced off the price a couple of times. So 15.8, 15.9 being one of those. Let's have a look. Resistance-wise, at the moment, we probably are looking at the top of this line here. It kind of correlates loosely with this one. So maybe about 17.3, 17.4, something like that. Couldn't let it go. He was on earlier. Subs only were allowed to comment. Surprised that, isn't it? You can only talk to me if you pay me. But yeah, I would not give that man money. If you look into his past, you'll know why. Me buying Quant.Matic, but Quant has a lot of hype pushing the price up, even in this bear market. Yeah, I mean, Quant does have a lot of hype. It's got serious use case, though, which is why I think it is. I provide the best info on crypto. Thank you. You're absolutely welcome, Simic Bal. I appreciate your support, buddy, and I really appreciate feedback like that. 100%. So I really appreciate you being here. 12k likes now, people. You're absolutely smashing it. Thank you so much for your support. Absolutely loving it tonight. We're doing really, really well. Maybe you've been blocked as he's not there. Well, I was commenting quite heavily on his account last time as well. So maybe I've been blocked as well when he's reviewed it. So I know that there were a lot of people on that live last night asking him what his real name was, what his past was. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, bullish on ICP, absolutely. ICP for me is brilliant technology. It had an awful launch and it did dump. We had someone mention concerns on the dump earlier, and that is real. That fear is real, but the tech is also real. So I'm investing in the possibility of adoption in the future, and I think that gives it a possibility to do very, very well. I've staked ICP in the NS governance service for 8 years, 6 years, and 4 years. I bought more today and invested that in SigDAO, which, as I said earlier, that's a project from Crypto is Good, who is kind of like my go-to developer programming expert on ICP and Polkadot. He's just full of knowledge. He's done his own project. He's openly said it's his. He's developed it. It's his baby, and it's doing well. So you can't get more endorsement than him. Hey Phil, how are you doing, buddy? Atom worth adding yet? Atom is one that I really, really like, but obviously it's a competitor, not competitor for Polkadot directly, but they do similar things. I'm quite heavily into Polkadot, but I think Atom is a quality use case. Just going to zoom out to the weekly on Atom and see where we are. So Atom's got on a weekly. It could go lower. We could see $6.50 on Atom again at some point, possibly. It does mean breaking the bottom of the Bollinger Band, and the stochastic RSI is very low. So I would think that's probably not likely, but that is somewhere we've been recently. So we could go there again. DOT is great, but doesn't move much. Not at the moment. It doesn't. No, but I'm pretty sure long term it probably will. You're welcome, Nathan, buddy. Not a problem. Visually explaining support and resistances is so much easier on YouTube, so I appreciate you being there, buddy. Do I own IMPT? No, not a bean. I don't rate IMPT at all. I think IMPT is a complete cash grab. If you read the white paper, it's nothing but a shopping channel with a carbon rebate. So there's no need for the token. There's no need for the NFT. They could just donate to carbon credit offsetting, but they don't, because they're a shopping platform. You get 2%, and they probably make 4 or 5% on their referral links. They're making money hand over fist. I think the IMPT that was released today is actually a different project, though. The IMPT you're probably looking at today is something called Immopet that someone pointed out earlier. That's a different project. But IMPT.io is a different one again. If I was not so skint due to the kids and Christmas, I'll be buying ICP. Me too, 100%. Do I think Dot, Quant, and other quality cryptos will exceed all-time highs, or do I have a ratio? For me personally, I think we've got to be wary regulation's going to come in. I think the market, I would love to say it's going to do one last hurrah. I think the market will still follow Bitcoin, but a lot of projects will be a little bit more cautious, I think, because of regulation being around the corner. I don't think we'll see an explosion in DeFi that we saw before, because regulation is around the corner. We probably won't see a DeFi, a DAO explosion, because they're just scams, most of them. So yeah, there's going to be very few projects that will explode. I think utility projects are the way to go. Use case is going to be king. Yeah, and those projects, I think they can do better than all-time highs. Crypto will see more adoption in the next bull run as well. As the governments have been talking about crypto more people know about it. We've seen more advertising. Good or bad, people will have knowledge of it now. So I think more adoption's coming to quality. Is Binance in trouble? I don't think so. I think there's been some fake news, some FUD pushed out, purely just because there's got to be some pushback on them. This investigation that Binance have been under is actually a 2-year operation. And someone's just put out there from an anonymous source that someone might now be facing criminal prosecution. It's all rumours and hearsay, nothing substantiated or proven. Lovelink, yes, Chainlink is a very, very good project. That is also on my accumulation list. Haven't bought much yet. I bought a little bit, but not a lot, because I'm focusing on other things. But Link is on the list, definitely. Fantastic use case. In terms of interoperability and building blockchains and other projects, Link is critical. Can I see 2023 being a good year for crypto? Personally, no. I think 2023, most of it will probably be a bear market. But saying that, because I've just said that, and that's what most people are going to think, it will probably do really well. We've seen conflicting stories on this already. I think the Bitcoin halving, coming out of recession, a little bit of regulation and knowledge about it in the general public, we could see it doing very, very well late 2023 into 2024. I think when countries like Australia and the UK start launching their CBDC testnets, that's when it gets really interesting, because that's when real awareness comes out. People will start talking about it a lot. Cryptoli, where's he gone? I don't know. I think he might be on the run. XRP possibly, or maybe he's banned. Maybe. Hopefully. That partnership with Mexi as well. I did say I was going to do that as well. Let them know the character of their affiliates, but I don't know what came out of that. I didn't do it. There are rumours about him that came out, and they're not really rumours. If you research the name, I think you'll probably find it in my Discord history as well. I'm not going to talk about him too much on TikTok, so I don't think he's worth the time or energy. But there are warnings in my Discord and copies of articles on the gentleman concerned. IMPT. Are we talking IMPT.io or Immopet? I think there's two. But IMPT.io, I do expect to crash. I do think IMPT.io is a cash grab anyway. I just don't know if it's the same IMPT that launched today. I had trouble swapping Doge to USDC on Kronos Network, on MetaMask, on ChronoSwap. Okay, it is the IMPT carbon credit one. Okay, so they've launched early just to grab the cash. ICP explosion, 100%. Do I trade or just invest? I generally just invest long term, very long term. Dino to the moon. Dino, in terms of a meme coin, to be fair, Dino looked all right. So that's why I was happy to do that sponsored content on it. Happily disclosed it as well. In terms of meme coins, it's got a lot of plans for a lot of utility, decent utility. So, yeah, I was happy to do that one. That was a sponsored one. What am I focusing on? Whatever anyone else wants to talk about. My focus at the moment is probably mostly on Polkadot, Moonbeam, Moonriver, ICP, and Quant. That's probably where I'm focusing right now. Missed my long-term view on ICP. Can I please let you know? Long-term ICP, I'm personally very, very bullish. I think the technology will see it through, but it does mean it needs to be adopted. Adoption is what will see ICP succeed. If it isn't adopted, it will fail. Cardano for the future. Cardano's looking stronger than I ever thought it was. So they are releasing 2 stable coins apparently next year, and they're also doing a privacy blockchain. That makes me think that they're starting to think like a proper, a proper ecosystem, trying to cover all the bases, and they weren't doing that last year or through most of this year. So it's all good. Gary Sush, you're absolutely welcome, buddy. I appreciate you all being here. I try to be very positive. Just talk crypto. No slander on TikTok at least. Maybe in Discord. Top gaming coins for the next bull run. I really don't have any. I think personally the next bull run, as I said, end of 2023 into 2024. I think we'll see some monster projects come out that will probably dwarf what we've got already in technology, investment, and everything else. Sandbox and Mana, in terms of the metaverse, might still be around because they've got a lot of corporate adoption. But I think game-wise, we'll see something new come out and change the game, for want of a better word. I think if the Fed pivots and stops the rate hikes, we will see prices rocket. Absolutely, we need to come out of a recession, and to do that, we need to see the interest hikes reducing and coming down. If we see interest rate hikes drop, so that, we get 50 points instead of 75, that's a good sign that the economy is starting to recover in the US. If we don't see that, it means we're in this continuing phase of recession. 2023 could bring institutional volume. I don't think so. What's happening is I think they've scheduled it, or they've put a testnet phase in for the UK's got a CBDC testnet phase scheduled to come in for November 23. So we won't see any actual use case out of that until 2024 possibly, or even later. Did I ever see Harry something? Think big, work smart was his catchphrase. Any thoughts? I think he was a very hard worker. He was very knowledgeable. And he's made so much money, he doesn't need to be in the space anymore. He was with Prize. He did TBWS Club, which was an NFT kind of project thing where you shared pooled knowledge and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he worked hard. He made a lot of money and he left the space. He's still around quietly every now and again, but right now he's disappeared. And, he doesn't need to be here. He's made his money. When and how often do I go online? I'm live most days now. Sometimes every other night, but I try to get on as much as I can. For me personally, I think if you're talking about Fitzo, Crypto Fitzo, because it sounds the same, not anything to do with how you're describing it. Crypto Fitzo for me has got fantastic knowledge. Very, very experienced, knowledgeable trader. He has made some fantastic calls recently as well, and he's really starting to pump the content out there to everyone else as well. So regardless of any arguments you might have witnessed him have, because he does have strong opinions and he will defend them, which is fine. I've got no issue with that at all. Then, he can come across as fiery, but his knowledge is spot on. Very, very knowledgeable guy. What do I think of PlayStation, Microsoft not ever got into crypto space? Well, this is exactly the thing. You can imagine we're starting to get game developers come into the space now anyway. when PlayStation, Microsoft, Ubisoft, all these major software and gaming companies come into the space, which they will, I 100% think they will just dominate. Markets often recover before we're out of recession. So generally about 6 months before we come out of recession, the markets start to recover. But that's when we start to see that reduction in the interest rate hikes. Once that starts reducing, then we can start thinking, okay, in a few months or a year, we'll be coming out of this recession. AGIX isn't something I know, unfortunately. Couple of minutes, folks, and I'm going to wind it up. I've been on a really long session tonight, but I've kept it going because we've had a really good room. Fitzo is good. He is, absolutely. Fitzo is very, very good. Very knowledgeable guy. Thoughts on Illuvium? Fantastic looking project. When will it ever launch? Tokenomics also suck. But okay, yeah, I'm going to wind it up there, folks. So if you've been on YouTube watching me, thank you very much for being there. If you're on TikTok, again, thank you very much. Do make sure you follow me. As I said, there's a free Discord. Hop in, join there. I'll share whatever knowledge I can in there. You can talk to each other and help each other as always. So I look forward to seeing some of you in there. But yeah, have a great evening, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon.